If you guys want coins for FC24, make sure you check out MMOEXP.com. Their link is down in the description. They're very fast, they're very cheap, they're very reliable, and if you use my code Rema, you can get yourself a lovely 5% discount. So, what's up guys, it's Ash here and welcome back to a brand new video. Now, the team you're looking at is probably a lot different to the one you're used to if you watch my videos, and it's because somebody made a comment that really triggered me, and I don't usually listen to these comments, but I felt like addressing this one. It was basically this guy saying, I don't play the game, I don't test my tactics, and I'm not necessarily that good at the game. And while I might not be a pro, I can definitely hold my own in any FC or FIFA game. You know, I've been at the top, in the top percentiles for the past 6-7 years now. So, you know, I can definitely hold my own. And this is just kind of proof to you guys that I do actually play the game and try different things out. So yeah, this account's 1 week old, guys. You know, I literally made it at the end of Future Stars Team 1, so it might not even be a week old yet. And we've already played about 80 games on this account, and we've actually already played a FUT Champs Weekend League with it, and we've already played our qualies for this week as well. So I don't know if I'll be able to show the record for last week. Well, we've got the playoffs for this week, 8-2, which with that team alone isn't that bad. Guys, honestly, it's really not that bad. And then if we look at objectives, because I don't know if I can show you the record anyway else, but yeah, this objective was released for the weekend league that's just come out, that we've just played. So you can see we got 14 wins in that week, which again with this team is really not that bad. A lot of people would struggle to get that with their fully meta February teams, and this is pretty much a starter team we've got at the moment. So yeah, I don't usually address these things, guys, but I've played a lot of games recently, even if it's not been on my main account. I do test these tactics and I do try very hard to actually make, you know, some decent stuff for you guys. You know, it could be a little bit better, a bit more varied, I get that, but the game's the game, you know. But yeah, that's what we've been using. I do actually play this game a lot, and yeah, I do have some 4-3-3-4 variation custom tactics for you that we've been using. So yeah, if I can get 14 wins with them on this team, they can't be that bad, guys. So yeah, a little rant aside, I'm sorry, it's not usually like that, but yeah, sorry guys, waffling aside, I'll leave a little stamp for you guys to skip that part of the video if you're not interested. Sorry if I got a little bit heated, it just gets a bit frustrating sometimes, you know, when people just make assumptions about you as a person or what you do, and yeah, that's basically it. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video, and yeah, these tactics can't be terrible if we got 14 wins with them, with this team. So yeah, enjoy. Alright guys, so sorry about the waffling at the start, I just had a few things I did want to address, but yeah, these are the tactics that we were using for the 4-3-3 fourth variation. Defensive style, we have it on balanced, of course, because it does give you the best control over your defense. You know, when you want to be aggressive, and press your opponent, you can do that, and then if you want to maybe drop back or be a little bit more passive, it does allow you to do that as well, so it does give you the best control. If you guys prefer pressure tactics, that is absolutely fine, but I just rock balance because I prefer that personally. Moving on to the defensive width, guys, we have this on 45. Now 45 is good because it keeps your defense primarily narrow and compact, which will stop out it will stop all those attacks through the middle. But the reason you don't want to have a crazy low width is because although it'll be nice, narrow and compact, it'll be too narrow to the point where your opponent can just play a ball down the wing and cut you to pieces. So you need to have that balance of being narrow and compact whilst also maintaining a little bit of width as well. Moving on to the depth, guys, you have a couple of options here. A lot of people like to rock 71 depth, and while I think it's good, I feel like you need to have the most meta of meta defenders. So a gold Van Dijk won't cut it at this point, I don't think. You're going to need team of the year Van Dijk, you know. So if you want to rock 71 depth, I do recommend the most meta of defenses for it to work properly. Or if you're somebody like me, you know, you've seen the players I've been using, 60 depth works really well because you still get a higher defensive line, but your players aren't always out of position, and when they have that lack of pace, they're not going to get caught out all that much. So 60 depth is probably the safest way to go in my opinion. Moving on to the build-up play, guys, I rock this with balanced. Balanced, of course, because, you know, it gives you the most variety when you build up the play. So if you want to start off slow, you can do that, or if you want to start off quick, you can. And then if you just want to switch to another type of build-up, you can do that. You know, if you want to play slow and then play fast, you can. If you want to play fast and then slow down, you can also do that. So balance is the way to go, in my opinion, guys. For the chance creation, this one is an absolute must on any tactic that you see. You know, people are like, oh, every tactic's direct passing, every tactic's this. It's because it's the only thing that works in the game, guys. Direct passing is the only way to consistently score in the meta of this game. And the reason being is because everybody has those park the bus defenses, when you use direct passing, your attackers bunch up against the opposition defenders. So, you know, it becomes more of like a 1v1 isolation type game, you know, and then your attackers will make these runs, the defenders will follow the attacker making the run, and then once the defender has overcommitted, your attacker will track back so you can cut back to them. It's very boring, I get that, and it's the same as everything else, but it's the only way to actually consistently score in FC24. But yeah, moving on to the width, guys. Wider formation, we use a higher width. Pretty self-explanatory, not a specific number needed. We're just rocking 62 at the moment. When I use more competent players, so if I was using somebody on like my main account, for example, I might lower this down to like 55, you know, because these players can be a little bit more technical in the middle areas. But when you're using more limited players, or, you know, you just want to be as basic as possible, a higher width is better because it keeps your players a bit further out wide and it's a bit easier to attack down the wings that way. But yeah, the width is a preference thing. You can do what you want with that. For the players in the box, guys, I have this on 5, bang in the middle. This is so we can get a few players into the box, but we don't overcommit everybody, guys. And yeah, for the corners and the free kicks, I also have these on 2, but you can do whatever you want with those as well. Now, for the player instructions, guys, on the striker, we do have him on stay central and get in behind at the moment. Stay central because we don't really need him drifting out wide if we do have wingers. You know, they cover those wider spaces. We don't need him to be out there. So I'm using a taller striker in Josh Xerxes at the moment. So I do want him to primarily be in the middle as that focal point, which works really well. So stay central is great. And then we also pop him on getting behind. So, you know, we can sometimes get in behind those defensive lines that people use. Sometimes, because this player is a little bit clunky, I will switch him to mixed attack, and that does make it a little bit easier, I would say. But yeah, it's completely down, it's down to what you want, essentially. For both the wingers, guys, at the moment, just cut inside, getting behind and getting to the box across. Cut inside means these players will start out wide with their runs and then transition into the more narrow areas. It sounds a bit crap, but honestly, the AI movements you get out of the attackers with this instruction is just really useful. You get a lot of diagonal runs and a lot of movement, which is why I do like that, guys. We also obviously have them on getting behind because they are wingers, and we do want them to use their pace and get into the box across so they don't hesitate in getting into the penalty area. You'll also notice we don't have them on comeback on defense either, so it won't defend in a 4-4-2, but rather a 4-3-3. So that's not even like what most people will use. A lot of people would just pop this on comeback on defense and make it defend in a 4-4-2, which is a viable option, but with what I've been using, I haven't been doing that. Now, moving on to the cam, because I said it doesn't defend in a 4-4-2, what I've done is like a compensation thing to make us defensively sound as well as good in the attack. We just pop the cam on, come back on defense, and get into the box across. So this will make it more like a solid 3 in the midfield. So yeah, like we are lacking that one player that you'd have if you had the 4-man midfield, but it's still defensively sound if you know what you're doing when you are defending. Now, the reason I did this, like this whole 4-3-3 setup in the defense, is because I noticed when I was trying out the 4-4-2, like defensive shape, the wingers weren't always, you know, in position when we got the ball back, and it could be a bit slow to counter attack. So I'd rather just keep them all pretty much in position, and that is why we've done that. For the left centre mid, guys, the more box to box style player, or if you can call them mule, like a box to box, we just leave them on the default settings and pop them on the cover centre instruction. We don't really want to restrict them to just defending. We want them to do a bit of everything, and then cover centre so that they primarily focus on those central areas. For the other centre mid, guys, the more defensive one, just pop them on stay back while attacking and cover centre, so you are nice and defensively sound. For the fullbacks, guys, I just have one unbalanced mixed at the moment. This is so sometimes they'll overlap, sometimes they'll underlap. Just gives you a bit of an extra option when we are going forward. And then for the other fullback, guys, we just pop them on stay back while attacking. So we've always got at least 3 defenders back at a time. Sorry if the Elgato's glitching, but you know, there's not much I can do at this point in the video. And yeah, for the 2 centre backs, we leave them alone, and the keeper, I also leave them alone. But yeah, guys, they're my tactics and instructions for the 4-3-3. If you have enjoyed or found it useful, please be sure to drop it a thumbs up, sub to the channel if you are new, and don't forget to turn on notifications. And with all that aside, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.